Hello everybody, tallpaul here, and today we're talking Daggerheart, and the topic of the day, domains. So in Daggerheart, domains are the core themes of each class. The combination of two domains forms the basis of each class's abilities and spells, which you gain from domain cards. This is the domain circle, and you can see all of the different classes that are available in the core rulebook here in between two of the different domains. So for Sorcerer here, we see it in between Arcana and then Midnight, the Rogue, Midnight, and then Grace, and so on and so forth around the circle. Each domain is going to give a unique set of abilities that are available for those two classes. So let's go through the domains and see just a couple of those abilities that give that domain its flavor. All right, so starting with Arcana. Arcana is the domain of innate and instinctual magic. Those who choose the path tap into the raw, enigmatic forces of the realms to manipulate both their own energy and the elements. Arcana offers wielders a volatile power, but is incredibly potent when correctly channeled. The Arcana domain is shared by the Sorcerer and the Druid. So let's take a look at a couple of these abilities. We're just going to do Wall Walk. Spend a hope to allow a creature that you can touch to climb on walls and ceilings as easily as they were walking on the ground. This lasts until the end of the scene, or you cast Wall Walk again. All right, next up, let's go to a level 6 domain card. Rift Walker. Make a spellcast roll 15. On a success, you place an arcane marking on the ground where you currently stand. The next time you successfully cast Rift Walker, a rift in space opens up, providing a safe passage back to the exact same spot where the marking was placed. The rift stays open until you choose to close it or you cast another spell. You can drop the spell at any time to cast Rift Walker again and place the mark somewhere new. That's a fun little teleport. I love that. Now, what are you getting at a higher level? Let's go straight to 10. Adjust Reality. After you or a willing ally makes any roll, you can spend 5 hope to change the numerical result of that roll to a result of your choice instead. The result must be plausible and within range of the dice. You get to pick what they roll. That's absolutely fantastic. So that's Arcana. Fun little magic domain. Let's move on to Grace. The Grace domain is shared by the Ranger and the Warrior. So with the Grace domain, Grace is the domain of charisma. Through rapturous storytelling, charming spells, or a shroud of lies, those who channel this power define the realities of their adversaries, bending perception to their will. Grace offers its wielders raw, magnetism, and mastery over language. So let's not do level 1, let's do a level 3. Invisibility. Make a spellcast roll 10. On a success, mark a stress, and you get to choose yourself or an ally within melee range to become invisible. An invisible creature can't be seen except through magical means, and attack rolls against them are made with disadvantage. Place a number of tokens on this card equal to your spellcasting trait. When the invisible creature takes an action, spend a token from this card. After the action that spends the last token is resolved, the effect ends. You can only hold invisibility on one creature at a time. Fun little spell. Let's go middle of the round. Let's do a 7. Endless Charisma. After you make an action roll to persuade, lie, or garner favor, you can spend a hope to re-roll the hope or fear die. Very fun. Now, what are we getting at level 10? Let's do Encore. When an ally within close range deals damage to an adversary, you can make a spellcast roll against the same target. On a success, you deal the same damage to the target that your ally dealt. If your spellcast roll succeeds with fear, place this card into your vault. Very fun. Very cool things coming from the Grace domain. Next up, we have our Blade domain. Blade is the domain of weapon mastery, whether by steel, bow, or perhaps a more specialized arm. Those who follow this path have the skill to cut short the lives of others. Wielders of the blade dedicate themselves to achieving inexorable power over death. The Blade domain is shared by the Warrior and the Guardian. First one, this is one of my favorite abilities. I'm just going to start with this. Whirlwind. Make an attack roll against a target within very close range. On a success, spend a hope to use the attack against all other targets within very close range. All additional adversaries you succeed against with this ability take half damage. Tons of fun. Great little AoE ability available for melee fighters right off the rip. Let's go right up to 5. Ability, Champion's Edge. When you critically succeed on an attack, you can spend up to 3 hope to choose to do one of the following options for each hope spent. 1. Clear a hit point. 2. You clear an armor slot. The target must mark an additional hit point. You can't choose the same option more than once. So hypothetically, you could spend 3 hope to do all 3, clear a hit point, clear an armor slot, and have them mark an additional hit point. Fantastic little ability. Let's rip it right over to 10. Battle monster or onslaught. Onslaught looks cool. I love the art in that card. When you successfully make an attack with your weapon, you never deal damage beneath the target's major damage threshold. The target always marks a minimum of 2 hit points. Very cool. Additionally, when a creature within your weapon range deals damage to an ally with an attack that doesn't include you, you can mark a stress to force them to make a reaction roll 15. On a failure, the target must mark a hit point. Very cool ability, and considering a lot of even the higher level adversaries only have between 8 and 10 hit points, always doing 2 hit points is a pretty big deal. Next up, we have Midnight, and Midnight is shared between the Rogue and the Sorcerer. Midnight is the domain of shadows and secrecy, whether by clever tricks, deft magic, or the cloak of night. Those who channel these forces practice the art of obscurity and can uncover sequestered treasures. Midnight offers practitioners the power to control and create enigmas. So let's do a level 1 ability here. Let's do Uncanny Disguise. When you have a few minutes to prepare, you can mark a stress and don the facade of any human that you can picture clearly in your mind. While disguised, you have advantage on presence rolls to avoid scrutiny. Place a number of tokens equal to your spellcast rate on this card. When you take an action while disguised, spend a token from this card. After the action that spends the last token is resolved, the disguise drops. All right, let's go middle of the road. Let's do 6. Let's do this one, Dark Whispers. You can speak into the mind of any person from whom you've made physical contact. Once you've opened a channel to them, they can speak back into your mind. Additionally, you can mark a stress to make a spellcasting roll against them. On a success, you can ask the GM one of the following questions and receive an answer. Where are they? What are they doing? What are they afraid of? What do they cherish most in the world? That is a very cool ability out of the Midnight domain. Spectre of the Dark is a level 10 domain card available in the Midnight. Let's talk about it. Mark a stress to become spectral until you make an action roll targeting another creature. While spectral, you're immune to physical damage and you can float and pass through solid objects. Other creatures can see you while you are in this form. That is just cool and a fun thing to get at level 10. All right, next up, we're going to have Bone. Bone is shared between the Ranger and the Warrior class. Bone is the domain of tactics and the body. Practitioners of this domain have an uncanny control over their own physical abilities and an eye for predicting the behaviors of others in combat. Adherents to Bone get an unparalleled understanding of their bodies and their movements. So let's rip it off right with, we'll go for level 2 this time. Ferocity. When you cause an adversary to mark 1 or more hit points, you can spend 2 hope to increase your evasion by the number of hit points that they marked. This bonus lasts until the next attack made against you. Nice. Next up, let's go to something in 5. Signature move. Name and describe your signature combat move. Once per rest, when you perform this signature move as part of an action you're taking, you can roll a d20 as your hope. On a success, clear a stress. Very cool. Last up, let's do right to level 10. This one's a short one. Swift step. When an attack against you fails, clear a stress. If you can't clear a stress, gain a hope. That's an excellent little simple ability, but I want to look at Death Run too. Spend 3 hope to run at a straight path through the battlefield to a point within far range, making an attack against all adversaries within your weapon's range along that path. Choose the order in which you deal damage to the targets you succeed against. For the first, roll your weapon damage with a +1 bonus to your proficiency, then remove a die from your damage roll and deal the remaining damage to the next target. Continue to remove a die for each subsequent target until you have no more damage dice or adversaries. You can't target the same adversary more than once per attack. That is a lot of fun. Very cool abilities coming in with the Bone domain. All right, let's move over to Sage. Sage is going to be shared between the Druid and the Ranger. Sage is the domain of the natural world. Those who walk this path tap into an unfettered power of the earth and its creatures to unleash raw magic. Sage grants its adherents the vitality of a blooming flower, and the ferocity of a ravenous predator. So we're going to go with a level 1 ability here. Let's do Vicious Entangle. Make a spellcast roll against a target within far range. On a success, roots and vines reach up through the ground, dealing 1d8 plus 1 physical damage and temporarily restraining the target. Additionally, on a success, you can spend a hope to temporarily restrain another adversary within very close range of the target. Nice little entangle spell. Let's go a little higher this time. Let's go to 7. Sage Touched. When 4 or more of the domain cards in your loadout are from the Sage domain, gain the following benefits. While you're in a natural environment, you gain a +2 bonus to spellcast rolls. Once per rest, you can double your agility or instinct when you're making a roll that uses that trait. You must choose to do this before the roll. Very cool. And then for our level 10 abilities, let's Tempest spell. Choose one of the following Tempests and make a spellcast roll against all targets within far range. Targets you succeed against experience its effects until the GM spends a fear on their turn to end this spell. Blizzard, deal 2d20 plus 8 magic damage, and the targets are temporarily vulnerable. Hurricane, deal 3d10 plus 10 magic damage and choose a direction the wind is blowing. Targets can't move against the wind. And then Sandstorm, deal 5d6 plus 9 magic damage. Attacks made from beyond melee range have disadvantage. Very cool spell coming in for the Sage domain. Next up, we have the Codex domain. Now, the Codex domain is shared between the Bard and the Wizard. Codex is the domain of intensive magical study. Those who seek magical knowledge turn to its equations of power recorded in books, written on scrolls, etched into walls, or tattooed on bodies. Codex often offers a commanding and versatile understanding of magic to devotees who pursue knowledge beyond the boundaries of common wisdom. All right, so in here we're also going to have grimoires. Grimoires are going to be a collection of spells that you are able to use as selecting this domain card. So let's rip a level. We're going to go up to level 2. Book of Norai. Mystic Tether. Make a spellcast roll against a target within far range. On a success, they're temporarily restrained and must mark a stress. If you target a flying creature, the spell grounds and temporarily restrains them. Fireball. Make a spellcast against a target within very far range. On a success, hurl a sphere of fire towards them that explodes on impact. The target and all creatures within very close range to them must make a reaction roll 13. Targets who fail take d20 plus 5 magic damage using your proficiency. Targets who succeed take half damage. That means you get an additional d20 every time your proficiency goes up. Very cool. Everybody loves a fireball. Let's do level 6 spell. This is going to be Banish. Make a spellcast roll against a target within close range. On a success, roll a number of d20s equal to your spellcasting trait. The target must make a reaction roll with a difficulty equal to your highest result. On a success, the target must mark a stress but isn't banished. Once per rest on a failure, they are banished from this realm. When the PCs roll with fear, the difficulty gains a -1 penalty and the target makes another reaction roll. On a success, they return from banishment. Excellent. So for our level 10s, we have a grimoire and a spell. Let's do the grimoire. Book of Yarrow. Time Jammer. Make a spellcast roll 18. On a success, time temporarily slows to a halt for everyone within far range except for you. It resumes the next time you make an action roll that targets another creature. Magical immunity. Spend 5 hope to become immune to magical damage until your next rest. Wow, that is very magically cool. And that is the Codex domain. Next up, we have Splendor. Splendor is shared between the Wizard and the Seraph. Splendor is the domain of life. Through this magic, followers gain the ability to heal and, to an extent, control over death. Splendor offers its disciples the magnificent ability to both give and end life. So, let's look at some healing. Let's look at Mending Touch. You lay your hands upon a creature and channel healing magic to close their wounds. When you can take a few minutes to focus on the target you're helping, you can spend 2 hope to clear a hit point or a stress on them. Once per long rest, when you spend this healing time learning something new about them or revealing something about yourself, you can clear 2 hit points or 2 stress on them instead. Very cool little healing ability. Let's rock right in the middle. 5. So we have Shape, Material, and Smite. Let's go Smite. Once per rest, spend 3 hope to charge your powerful Smite. When you successfully attack with a weapon, double the result of your damage roll. The attack deals magic damage regardless of the weapon's damage type. Very cool. And let's look at 10. Oh, I'm missing a 10. There it is. So our 10s are going to be Invigoration and Resurrection. Let's look at Resurrection in Daggerheart. Resurrection, make a spellcast roll 20. On a success, restore one creature who has been dead no longer than 100 years to full strength. Then roll a d6. On a result of 5 or lower, place this card in your vault permanently. On a failure, you can't cast Resurrection again for a week. Interesting mechanics for Resurrection, but very cool and available for both the Wizard and the Seraph in Daggerheart. Now for our last domain, Valor. Valor is going to be available between the Guardian and the Seraph. Valor is the domain of protection, whether through attack or defense. Those who choose this discipline channel formidable strength to protect their allies in battle. Valor offers great power to those who raise their shields in defense of others. So one of my favorites is right here at level 1, I am your shield. When an ally within close range would take damage, you mark a stress to stand in the way and take the damage. Make yourself the target of the damage instead. When you take the damage from this attack, you can mark any number of your armor slots. Very cool little ability. Let's go. We haven't done a lot of 8s. So 8s, Full Surge. Once per long rest, mark 3 stress to push your body to its limits. Gain a +2 bonus to all of your character traits until your next rest. That's very cool. And then let's look at our level 10 abilities. We have Unbreakable. When you mark your last hit point, instead of making a death move, you can roll a d6 and clear a number of hit points equal to the result. Then place this card in your vault. Excellent. And then that was a short one, so we'll do Unyielding Armor as well. When you would mark an armor slot, roll a number of d6s equal to your proficiency. If any, roll a 6, reduce the severity by 1 threshold without marking an armor slot. Very cool, allows your armor slots to go longer while you're protecting your allies. Absolutely cool stuff coming out of the Valor domain in Daggerheart. All right, so there you have it. We have gone all the way around the domain wheel in Daggerheart. Each class is going to get access to 2 domains that give you the abilities that make up the cool things that that class can do. You have some very cool and kind of unique combinations with, the Wizard and the Seraph both sharing the Splendor domain, allowing your wizards to heal, I think is very cool. Giving sorcerers access to the Midnight domain, making them kind of a sneaky spellcaster, is something that I absolutely love. I'm really enjoying Daggerheart, and I want to thank you all for joining me today. Be sure to like and subscribe for more great Daggerheart content. If you have something that you'd like to see highlighted in one of my videos coming up, leave it down in the comments. Things that I want to do coming up are talk about the different campaign frames available in the Daggerheart core rulebook. There's some very cool ones with some very cool content in them. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.